team's going to tell me whether we're live, because we're trying out a new camera today. I think we are. Yes, team? So, welcome to Privacy News TV. We're going to talk a little bit about the book club. I asked a couple of weeks ago, as I discussed a couple of books I was reading, whether we should start a virtual privacy book club, and lots of you said yes. So we're going to do it. We'll start in September, since hopefully you're all on vacation, or heading on vacation shortly. We'll set up a way for you to give us your email so we can push that out. Obviously, I'll promote it here on social media, but people like getting an email. So we'll post under this video a link for you to give us your email if you would like to get an alert of when we're hosting the next session. I'm going to poll and ask for some ideas for books. I've got a couple of books here. I'm going to ask you what you would like us to choose. But my main question today is what time? Most of our audience is U.S., a lot of Washington, a lot of Valley, West Coast, Seattle, Boston, but we have a lot of Europeans as well. We're opening up FPF Europe this year, and we've always done a lot in Europe, and I'd like to try to make sure that we're as friendly as we can. So what is an ideal time? One option is to do it at 11 o'clock and catch folks in Brussels perhaps at 5. One might be to do it over, although 11 o'clock is going to be 8 for you West Coasters, so that might not be great. Another option is for us to do it at noon, sort of a lunch book club for the East Coast people, but that's 9 o'clock, and the question is, are you going to come in at 9 o'clock, and are you going to want to do a book club the first time of the day? So if you could throw out some options, what would work for you, and just think about the fact that we want our Europeans trying to do it during the day, that would be enormously helpful to me. The second thing that I want to ask is, by the way, if I've been looking down, apologies for those who just joined. We're trying out the Mevo camera instead of using my laptop camera, so when we roam around town, we have a little bit of a camera that we can bring with us and interview people and all that. So here are the books that I'm thinking of, and if you have a suggestion, please post and add it to the comments below, and then I'm going to survey and we'll let people vote. So here are 3 that I'm thinking about right now, but please let me know whether you think there's anything better. First of all, Woody Hartzog's book. You all know and love Professor Hartzog, who just, Woody, as you know, has just moved from the Sandburg School of Law to Boston, where at his new university he is as prolific as he was. He wrote a book called Privacy's Blueprint: The Battle to Control the Design of New Technologies. Now, I know some of you have read this already. I've read it already. We actually gave it out to everyone who attended the FPF annual in-person meeting, and so hopefully a lot of our members have read it as well. And let's have a chat about it. Maybe some of you got halfway through, and this will be the incentive to actually finish it. It is full of really fascinating examples and tries to be the definitive debate and discussion around privacy by design. I really enjoyed it, provocative, and Woody's one of those rare academics who really engages with not only the academic community, the corporate community, civil society. So if this is the book you've been waiting to read, and you want to discuss it with a bunch of your colleagues, we'll call up Woody. I think we can get him. He came and discussed it in person at our annual meeting. He's an incredibly accessible guy, so we'll call him up and maybe have 1 or 2 of you and myself, and actually even have a discussion with him. So no promises, but probably the case. One book. Here's a book that's been sitting on my desk. I think many of you know that the main reason we're doing this book club is I've got a stack of like 20 books that I really ought to be reading. It's our job to stay tuned. It's your job to stay tuned to a lot of the leading writing and work that's happening, but we all have a lot of activity, and so sometimes having a date where you know you're going to have a good chat about it with some intelligent people is one of the reasons why you join a book club. All right, so here's one that's been on my desk and I haven't read it yet. I've read a lot of articles about it, and it's been a real phenomenon in the academic and civil society world, maybe less in the corporate, and probably one that many of us should read. It's called The Poverty of Privacy Rights. And this book is, we'll post links to them all in the notes. Kiara Bridges, and this book argues that poor people are bearing the brunt of all of this data collection. And I think really important for people who are on the business side to understand this view, which has gotten a lot of traction in civil rights communities and others, that in some ways people who are poor, people who are underprivileged, have no privacy rights, and that much data collection is used in a way that oppresses them or is adversarial. Got a lot of really significant reviews and is a thoughtful book. Professor Bridges is a professor of law and anthropology at Boston University. So that's the second option. The third option is another one that's been sitting on my desk. I actually flipped through this a bit. It's called Big Data, Little Data, No Data, Scholarship in the Network World. And this one is by Christine Borgman. She is an often cited authority on scholarly communication. She argues that data has no value or meaning in isolation. It exists within a knowledge infrastructure, people, practices, technologies. So her book is about 6 provocations that are meant to inspire discussion about the uses of data in scholarship. So she's got a book that's really a bit more aimed at what should academics, what should scholars, what should researchers understand about data. A little bit of a different path. But what's on your desk? What do you know you really ought to be reading as a data protection interested or tech interested person? Doesn't have to be hardcore privacy data protection. We've got to understand what's going on in tech and policy. So what's on your desk? What's the book you've wanted to buy where we can provide the excuse for you to do it? Okay, let me close with, please give me your ideal time so we can get some sense of 2 or 3 times that we'll poll. If there's a book you'd like to toss into the mix, I'm going to poll 3 books, and then we'll pick a day in September for the kickoff. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and hopefully our Mevo camera carried the day today. We'll see if that's what we should use going forward. See you later.